I suppose to start with Riley, could you just talk to us about why he was omitted, what you told him?
Yeah, talk through the squad. I guess we got Lockie Gallant comes in. I won't give you them all, but we got some guys in some pretty good form at SANFL level. You know, I know it's been one round, but we played pre-season as well throughout that. So we've got a reasonably good body of work there from some guys that are pushing from underneath, which is a really positive thing for us. From Riley's point of view, it's one of those things. He's in a development phase, continues to work on his game. I don't know if you guys watched last night. It was a really interesting post-game presser from Mackay, who's an outstanding footballer, probably Coleman medalist last year. He's a key position forward, and he had to talk through some of the challenges he had early in his career. I think he's 6 or 7, 8 years in now and dominating the game. But it's one of the hardest positions to play. We need to be up and going, and our ball movement needs to be giving him opportunity. At the moment, we didn't have that for a half. We gave him a half, a bit of a look at it. But it's been 2 or 3 weeks that he's been working on his game, and he'll continue to do that and continue to develop. So from our point of view, it's a bit of a combination of, if guys are ready to go and we think that they'll help us get the result on the weekend, they'll come into the side, and those guys that maybe aren't quite getting it done for us, we'll go back and work on their craft.
So is Riley's a performance thing, or what's the balance between what you will learn in a SANFL trial as opposed to the experience and what you learn in the NFL?
It's a balance thing. And that's with every player we've got. But I will talk specifically about Riley's scenario, and this is one that I think is important. We understand the position that they play. A key back, for example, can work through and can go to work on his opponent on the weekend, doesn't rely on teammates as much to deliver the ball. Well, there's a combination here of how we're playing our football, how we're delivering that footy in, and as well as Riley when it's his turn to go. There was some stuff on the weekend we were really pleased with, and Riley's shown that he's got a number of areas to his game. He can pinch in the ruck and get around the ground, and that's probably where he's more comfortable at the moment. And you'll find that with most key forwards that come in that are 18, 19 years old, that it's quite a challenge when you've got the best backs in the game at AFL level coming and punching you in the back of the head. So he'll continue to work on it, and I've got no doubt he'll be back before we know it.
So what was the conversation as opposed to Riley over Elliott in terms of? That's the balance of our team. What it is we're going to play second in the ruck, what we see we're getting from Himmer. We look at Himmelberg and we say first one back, 32 degrees. There was a number of players out there that were stressed, that were probably looked a bit fatigued at times for both sides. We think he'll be better for the run, and so we're going to give him the nod this week. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, it is. And Wayne and I sat down post-game and we had a good talk earlier in the week about what's best for him now. If we look at the year and go bigger picture with Junior, 10 or 15 games from Junior at AFL level would be a fantastic result at the end of the year. We thought on the weekend he showed some signs. He's in our best 22. That's our feel as a group. We know what he can bring, but at the moment that step up to AFL level is a huge step up when it comes to speed and what's expected. So it was nice for us to sit down and just talk through that. And he felt, so did I, and so did the match committee, that him having a couple more hit-outs, maybe 1 or 2 at SANFL level, will benefit him more than sort of pushing through an AFL game. So you play the game before this one, do you think?
Sorry?
So you played a SANFL game before the Rio game in retrospect?
We thought, reward for the work he's done. We run into a 32-degree day as well. Sunday afternoon, round 1, everyone's can't blow a candle out after 5 minutes, and then they push through that. Was it the perfect storm for him? Yeah, maybe. But look, we sat down. We were very open and honest about where we see things, and we felt, look, as he did, SANFL for maybe a week or 2. See what we can do there, really grind it out. We know he's going to be able to, accumulate the footy. We know what he can do there, but this is about him putting his head down and really grinding and getting his fitness to that level. Yeah, there's always that balance between selection of, who can you bring in. Lairdy's one again. There's a bigger picture to every decision. He's trained today. He's working through that broken hand.
the last thing we want is for that to become 4 or 5 weeks off the back of this. So there won't be a risk taken there for the weekend. And that's similar. You know, we make decisions around a lot of players when it comes to their fitness.
Pretty impressive in the sample showing us. Also, Adelaide both kicked a bunch of goals.
Yeah.
Maybe he's just starting with Adelaide. He's predominantly inside players, but he's looking to add that forward sort of craft to his game. Where do you see the
Well, probably more forward. You know, if we're talking percentage, at the moment, he's done a lot of work on that forward craft this pre-season. And that's been off the balance of our group, off what we have in there. Lairdy's not going to play this week, but we'd like to think when he's available that he goes back into our midfield. And so what Peds has done, he's done a hell of a lot of work around that forward craft. He's worked with James Raleigh and the forwards throughout the pre-season, and he showed that on the weekend. When given the opportunity, he's dynamic. He's a sort of player that we really want to add to that forward line. He's still got a fair bit that he's working on. So, the last time we went down to Melbourne, he played, his first game was on Marvel, and he looked back on that, he'll learn a lot from that game. And we hope this is another great experience for him to come in on the MCG. Well, the ball use has been a focus now for a few months, as has our defence. We'd like to think, look, our number one priority is playing the ball front of centre, and that's our defence. So we're going to work on that non-stop. But at the same time, there are teams that are reasonably strong, right throughout their midfield, and they often get you in your back half. So you've got to be able to do both. But yeah, when you look at a team like Collingwood, we're coming up against, they play a really strong defensive unit. So we've done a fair bit of work on that this week, what that might look like for our guys. We'll go in with a plan. That plan will involve playing our style of footy, but we have a huge respect for what we're coming up against. Yeah, you nailed it. Braden's a great young footballer. Probably unlucky not to play round one, but we had a little patch there where we wanted to see a bit more from him, and he delivered that on the weekend to his credit. He's a very, very good ball handler, uses it well by foot. So, coming in onto a large deck of the MCG, we hope he brings the contest, which we're pretty sure he will do. Whether that's on a wing or probably a little bit forward as well, but hopefully he'll add to some of that ball movement we talk about. Yeah.
Do you look at relying on a different avenue to goal at times? Obviously, that always a different developed thing, but is there an extra emphasis on perhaps transition or finding different routes?
Yeah, it's a bit of deja vu of last year. I think maybe after 4 rounds we might have been number one for stoppage score. We spoke about it then. It's not something that will hold up necessarily. So yeah, we've got to do a hell of a lot of work on our transition. That's the area we're in, and I talk about it as defence. We're talking transition. It's our ball movement, getting into our forward line, and then being able to hold that footy in there. And that's where you get a turnover score from, so it doesn't come from the stoppage stat. That's our big work on at this point in time. He may do, Theo. He may do. Look, what Lockie brings is he'll go at the footy in the air. We know that, and we're coming up against a team that do exactly the same. Moore and Howe, they're outstanding above head. So we'll let Lockie just loose. We'll let him play and have a real crack at it. We love the way he goes about it. He'll enjoy that deck as well. He's a Victorian lad. So it'll be a great opportunity for him, whether he starts or not. Theo, it won't matter nowadays. He's on within 3 or 4 minutes. So I just look forward to seeing what he brings. Hey.
Do you expect the contest between Keys to be a big part of the to get up?
Yeah, probably not just those two. There's a number of them from our oppo that are outstanding players. We'd like to think our guys enjoy that part of the game. We talk about what Craig McRae's brought to Collingwood and what it seems like they're looking to play a real scrap and enjoy that and embrace it. You're going to see that sort of game because we love that. We really, and you talk about Ben Keys, in there, Sloaney, getting up as well, being available this week. We weren't sure for a period of time there. Shonny enjoys the scrap as well, and Matty Crouch was really pleasing last week to see him, bring that real polish back to our inside stuff around stoppage. So, no, that's going to be a great battle. They bring up the goalie to stoppage at times, and he's really powerful. So it'll be a good challenge for us. Yeah, slowly as the year plays out, we'll just massage that. We want him at his freshest and at his best when he's in around stoppage. When you're wrestling and you're jockeying for position, it's quite taxing. But that'll be something we'll continue to look at.
What do you think changed from making him up to great to great? You said, scrapping. What have you noticed in terms of their game style?
What's exciting, I mean, you get a good look at them last week. They're enjoying their footy and they play a little bit more of an attacking brand. They're happy to make it a little bit messy. So on the weekend, I think you'll see a real scrap, a real contest, which is a really enjoyable game to watch if both teams are going at it tough. So I know that's what our guys love. We embrace that. It's just a matter of exactly where that's being played on the ground. We'll make sure that we try and get that part right.
Will you go to the MCG, Sabo?
No, we won't. No, if we can get a captain's run on there, we'll do that if we can. We weren't able to get on this week.
First time Josh Shelley sees the MCG will be when he walks out tomorrow afternoon.
It will be, yeah. A couple of hours prior, we'll go out and have a wander around and just get a feel for it. I think he may have seen the MCG, but it'll be the first time he runs out with boots and a footy jumper on.
Is there anything you tell players that haven't played there specifically?
Look, it's an oval. It's a little larger than what we play on. There's your difference. Now the atmosphere is going to be the key. We play against a team that they've got really good support down there in Melbourne. So that's the part we've got to embrace. We've got to do what we can to silence that crowd. That's our challenge. It's not so much the oval. He's had a really good week. He trained well on Wednesday. I think he's got a really good balance, Josh. It's just something some guys have naturally. It hasn't been a need to have a chat about anything. We are in Adelaide, so he gets a fair bit of attention. Look, he's put his head down and gone to work, though. I think that's probably the most pleasing part is, you can see some players that may lose themselves a little. He's a competitor, so he's now looking at the next challenge, and he knows it's going to get tougher and tougher. There's going to be sides that come out now, and you don't slip under their guard. And I'm not saying he did that with Freo, because he did some outstanding stuff, and he does compete hard. So you'd like to think that puts him in a pretty good spot to perform again. A decent junior soccer player. Thanks for the compliment. Oh, look, I think soccer skills. So there's definitely something that translates from soccer to footy. We've seen some outstanding soccer players. Adam Goods, was one. Even other sports like basketball. Pendlebury this week, he's got that background where he's played. There's no doubt there's an awareness, there's a spatial awareness from guys that have played different sports, and he seems to bring that. Doesn't go to ground very often. Some of our best players in the game, I remember Gary Ablett Jr. at his best, never ever did his knees hit the ground. He was always on his feet, and so hopefully that he'll continue to perform well for us.